I am currently watching football right in front of me, so if I seem a little distracted during this race review, it's because I'm watching the Miami Dolphins versus the Los Angeles Chargers. It is currently 36 seconds left of the third quarter, 27-24. We'll see by the time this is uploaded what happens. Definitely it's not going to be 27-24 in a few seconds. It doesn't look like it. Anyways, Kansas, NASCAR. Yeah, that was good. It was good. Dirty air still plays a factor, but Kansas is one of the best racetracks in NASCAR. We know that. The crowd was a little bit disappointing. I saw a good amount of empty seats, but that's 2 race dates. It happens. I understand. And the Kansas City Chiefs lost, so maybe everyone was still pissed off, you know. Like they probably had a race ticket and they just said, nah, I'm depressed because the Chiefs lost, and they just didn't go. Now I'm pretty sure no one actually did that, but I'm just trying to come up with excuses for them as to why, like, you know, it wasn't really sold out. Nah, but the race was actually genuinely very good, but the main story is going to be obviously heading into Bristol. It's going to be about the playoffs, and what did I tell you guys? What did I tell you guys? Just run top 10. If you're William Byron, if you're Martin Truex Jr., just top 10. You don't have to do anything special. And well, within the first 4 laps, Martin Truex Jr.'s playoff hopes have been shot pretty badly. And now, somehow, the regular season champion might actually miss the next round. He might get eliminated in the first round, which I did not think was possible. I thought he would be completely okay. This might be really what we are witnessing, one of the worst collapses in NASCAR playoff history, because the only thing I could think of is probably Kyle Busch 2008, right? Kyle Busch was so amazing 2008, but it's a different playoff format, right? So that was still the 5-point increments. I don't remember in 2008 if you got bonus points for wins. I don't think wild card came in yet either. Yeah, so no, wild card did come in by that time. I'm not sure. Anyways, but 2008 you didn't have the playoff format that we have now. So Truex has a bigger buffer than, you know, for example, Kyle Busch in 2008, and then that playoff stretch was terrible. I can't really think of another driver that had as big of a gap and then just collapsed as soon as the playoffs started. If Truex does not make it to the next round, I think this is the worst collapse we've seen in the playoffs, unless I'm missing one in my head that I just can't think of. But this is pretty bad because Darlington, right, doesn't qualify well, puts himself in a terrible position, can't get the track position, doesn't get stage points, doesn't really finish that well. He ended up, I think, only losing 2 points to the cut line, but he didn't get stage points, he didn't do anything. It was a bad day. And then today, the car is just wrong from the get-go. Now, we've seen, we'll talk about it as the race goes on, we saw a lot of right rear tire failures. I thought it was only a Toyota thing because for some reason we kept seeing, you know, it was Truex and it was Bubba Wallace, and I was like, is it a Toyota problem? No, because later in the race, Chris Buescher as well, right rear tire. There was also right rear tire failures in practice. So it was, you know, just a combination of maybe the setups that the guys were using and the track. It is what it is. It puts a lot of load in the right rear tire. But this was from lap 1. From lap 1, Truex is going backwards. Car looks completely wrong. Something's wrong. And the tire just explodes, I think on lap 3 or 4. And he's already running like in 15th or 16th at this point. He fell from the front 5 all the way back to mid-pack. And then the tire explodes heading into turn 3. Doesn't get stage points. Breaks the car, basically becomes totaled. And that's it. Literally the worst possible race you could have. And now, looking at the point standings, he is 7 below the cut line. The late race restart that happened that we will talk about actually hurt him more because the driver that was above him, which was Joey Logano, was able to get you know, a very good strategy call and was able to go above the cut line a little bit more. I think if I just take a quick look, yeah, it's now Kevin Harvick actually that is on the bubble at +7. And the Chargers just scored a touchdown. Does defense ever exist in the NFL anymore? Yeah. How much does Tua gotta do, man? That's ridiculous. Anyways, yeah. Terrible for Martin Truex Jr. That was the story of the race because this is the regular season champion. If he does not advance to the next round, that's awful. Now remember, if he advances to the next round, he's just as much of a favorite as he was before because all those playoff points will carry over and he'll be right back in a good position again. It's just, you gotta make it to the next round. 7 points to Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick, in recent years, I think has been pretty decent at Bristol. He's been pretty good at Bristol, so could be. Logano doesn't have a lot of speed this season. We'll see. You just need to get stage points, man. Just get this. Truex, that team, they gotta qualify well. They got to just do what they were doing in the middle of the season and get those stage points. I cannot believe he is 7 points below the cut line, but that really is the case. And then Bubba Wallace at Kansas, obviously won there last year and was running extremely well again, top 3. Now Larson looked like he had the best car, but Bubba Wallace was up there, and the right rear tire goes. So right rear tire, same thing to Bubba Wallace. Now Bubba Wallace was able to get stage points in the first stage, so that was good before the tire exploded. Now at 19 below the cut line, I'm not gonna say he's out of it. He's not particularly lucky that it's Martin Truex Jr. who's in front of him. That's not ideal, but can he make up 19 points? Yeah, if he runs well in the stages, he can make up 19 points. That's not something impossible or even unlikely. You just got to run top 5, and that sounds easier said than done, but he ran top 5 today at Kansas at one of his better racetracks. Now I think I saw a stat, he only has 1 top 10 at Bristol. Again, we'll see. Bristol to me is very random. The Bristol races I have watched in recent memory, there's always people running in different, it's 500 laps, it's insane. Restarts are insane, and your car could handle so differently run from run. So you might be watching Kyle Larson lead the race next week, and then you might be watching him run 25th. I've seen these races at Bristol where it is just so random because pit strategy, multiple cautions. So it's never, you know, even if you're not running, let's say 15th, right? You can pit strategize your way around to focusing on getting points in a stage and then sacrificing your track position for later in the race. You can do that at Bristol, but just the way the cautions fall and how the runs fall, you might be able in a position to do that. That's all I'm saying. Logano did at the end of the race today, so, you know, it's possible. But yeah, it was really a shame for him because this is one of his better racetracks. Was running really well. It just sucks, you know, for both Truex and for Bubba Wallace. It wasn't really driver mistakes. It's just right rear tire goes down. There's nothing you could do. In the whole race, it was very, you know, drivers, I don't know how to explain it. There always felt like there was someone different leading. You know, Denny Hamlin led the later part of the race. Kyle Larson led, you know, the middle part of the race. Christopher Bell and the Gibbs guys were up there at the beginning because they qualified really well. I picked Christopher Bell to win. I forgot that pit crew is horrible, even though they got switched and everything. Still no. So, yeah, I picked Bell to win. And then I saw what the pit crew was doing, and I was like, that's a terrible decision. Why did you pick Bell to win? But I got the Toyota part right. You know what? I'm always so close to picking Tyler Reddick, too, to win, and I never actually pick him because I'm like, something happens. Well, he finally was able to get a win today. But we'll get to Tyler Reddick in a second because Kyle Larson actually, to me, had the best car in the field. I thought Kyle Larson had the best car in the field. There was one key moment in the final stage where he lost control of the race. I think Chase Elliott was able to get to the lead, and then he had to restart third on a restart, and Chastain's right on his bumper, gets him loose, and Larson, with a lot of guys on 4 fresh tires, just goes straight backwards, lost all the track position, and then he has to get all the way back up. And he was actually able to do that. So he loses all his track position, he drives his way all the way forward, but this was during the green flag run, right? So he gets his way all the way back to 4th from 25th or whatever it was. He was way in the back. He had the fastest car, in my opinion. You know, Denny Hamlin was leading at that moment, but then Chris Buescher with a flat right rear tire. So another flat right rear tire, and then that changes things. And actually, on this pit stop, I thought everyone who made the calls, except for Daniel Suarez, Travis Mack just seemed like he was trolling on the pit box. Like, why not? No, but everyone here, I thought they made the right call. So Logano, Kyle Busch, Eric Jones, they take 2 tires. I thought that was the right call. The leaders, Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson. Again, I thought it was the right call, especially for Denny Hamlin and Tyler Reddick. They had a little bit of a gap. Not a lot, but I would say, you know, Denny Hamlin had about a car length to Reddick. Reddick had 2 car lengths to Chase Elliott. And I think that's a big enough gap where you take 4 and you bank on yourself being able to you know, be in the right line, essentially. And then for guys like Logano and all them, it was the right call. I actually thought more guys maybe should have done it with the 2 tires. I was a little bit surprised only 3 did. But, yeah, I thought it was the right call for everyone. And then at the end of the race, it really becomes... Daniel Suarez is what screwed all this up, right? So Daniel Suarez is the wild card, stays out, and I think this cost Denny Hamlin the race. Because Denny Hamlin would have restarted 2nd row if it wasn't for Daniel Suarez. It's kind of this is racing, right? It's racing, double file restarts. That's how the luck of the draw works. If Kyle Larson doesn't pick to go behind Denny Hamlin and instead goes to the bottom lane where Tyler Reddick ended up being, then with the way the restart looked like it played out, it looks like Kyle Larson could have won the race. So really, I think everyone made the right call. I didn't think there was a stupid call by anyone except for Suarez, but it's whatever. I don't think the leaders or anyone made a bad call. It obviously worked for guys like Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Erik Jones, and in my opinion, it still was the right call for Denny Hamlin, for Kyle Larson, for Tyler Reddick, and one of them ended up winning the race. So it's just a Las Vegas casino deal. Like, really, that's what this is. It's completely random, and you don't know how it's going to play out. And because Suarez was on those old tires, I agreed actually with what Hamlin. So this is the thing. In hindsight, right? It's like, oh, I should have went down to the bottom lane before that restart ever happened. Even even you know, obviously Letarte and Burton and Junior were talking about it. You don't want to be behind the 99. You don't want to be in that lane because it's likely he spins his tires. It's likely he doesn't get going. It's likely he holds that up. So even if I was Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson and I saw where the 99 went, I would have done exactly what they did. But then the guy who wins the race was in the line that Suarez was in. So that's why I'm saying it is crazy how the ends of these races work. But I think everyone really did make the right call. And it ended up being just chaos because Suarez doesn't really spin the tires. He actually gets a decent start. Then he enters the corner and he just dies. Like, he just doesn't go. And what Reddick is able to do is Reddick sends it into the corner while Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson actually got caught sleeping on the restart. So all this stuff kind of plays together, and Reddick is able to send it into the corner, slide up to avoid Suarez, who I can't believe ended up not getting crashed. I mean, that's how slow he was. And then Reddick is able to get the run coming through 3 and 4, put Logano and Erik Jones, who are side drafting each other, put them 3 wide, get the win. Terrific job for Reddick, and it kind of opened up for him. You know, what if Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson weren't trying to play games, weren't trying to lay back? If they were right on the bumper, would Reddick have been able to send it into turn 1 and just slide up like that? So then you end up with the race results. Reddick, Hamlin, Jones, Larson, Logano, Elliott, Busch, Bell, Keselowski, and Bowman round out the top 10. The big deal here is really Joey Logano. Joey Logano was running 16th, I think it was. I mean, he was way in the back. Ends up with a top 5, right? That's a huge deal because once we get to the point standings, you can see the rest of the results. Harvick, Blaney, Chastain, Gibbs, Byron, Suarez, and everybody else. And then you have at the bottom, you have Bubba Wallace, Harrison Burton, Martin Truex Jr. So those guys definitely suffered. Chris Buescher in 27th. But then let's go to the points. The points are the big deal, right? So you have Larson and Reddick in. You have Denny Hamlin at 49 in. William Byron at 41 in. Brad Keselowski at 33. Pretty much in. Ryan Blaney at 25, just don't have a DNF. Kyle Busch, the same, don't have a DNF. Ross Chastain plus 18, Buescher 13, Bell at 13, Logano 12, Harvick at 7, and then Truex, Bubba Wallace, Stenhouse, and McDowell. Michael McDowell, thank you for joining the playoffs, but yeah, whatever. I mean, this is why I prefer to have Chase Elliott in the playoffs, because I just knew that if Michael McDowell made the playoffs, it wasn't going to happen. But congratulations to Michael McDowell for making the playoffs. And then after next week, sayonara and thank you for taking up a spot, I guess. Can we just please cut the playoffs down to 12 drivers? We don't need 16, okay? Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Michael McDowell are taking up numbers, in my opinion. We just don't gotta be doing this. But then to be fair, if we cut it down to 12, I think Truex would already be eliminated. that's how bad it's been. Actually, no, he wouldn't be. You know, he wouldn't be. Compared to where Chastain, Buescher, Bell, yeah, he wouldn't be eliminated. But damn. But again, the big story here is Truex. I still can't believe he's down there. And Bristol's not a normal race. Bristol night race is not, it's not Las Vegas or Pocono or, I don't know, just normal races where you could kind of control your destiny. Bristol, you can't. You can't really control your destiny. With the way there are always comers and goers. The runs, the cautions, like I said earlier, the cycle on the tires, pit strategy, track position versus fresh tires versus stage points. Truex is going to have a stressful race. It's going to be a stressful race, and you're not trying to gain 7 points on, with all due respect, Michael McDowell or Ricky Stenhouse Jr. You're trying to gain 7 points on Kevin Harvick, who has been running better in the second half of the season. You know, and then Bell, right, your teammate. You have to gain essentially, what is it? 20 points on him. Joey Logano, you have to gain 19 points on. That's not easy, man. It's doable, definitely. Now, I don't know how Bristol's going to go. In my opinion, it's, what, the first short track race we've had in a long time, too, right? So, I don't know. Like, when I think of short track races, I'm thinking of Martinsville, I'm thinking of Richmond, I'm thinking of those places. It's been a long time since we've been there. So, yeah, I do not know how Bristol is going to go. But the real story is going to be Truex. I'm sure if you're a William Byron fan, if you're even a Larson fan, a Blaney fan, anyone that's not a Truex fan, you probably want to see Truex get eliminated, right? That is a competitor that you don't want to be there. So I think the majority of fan bases are going to be rooting against Truex to get eliminated because they know that he can easily make the Final Four. So that it's just a crazy situation. Again, the race today, final thoughts on it. It was a good race. I think the car still obviously has issues with dirty air, but Kansas is a very good racetrack where the top lane is good, the middle lane can be good, the bottom lane, obviously we saw Kevin Harvick doing his Harvicking on the white line. Bottom lane is also good if you could get your car working down there. So I thought the track allowed everyone to kind of race against each other. But yeah, definitely you can easily see that as the teams incorporate more downforce into this car, the dirty air does get worse. So NASCAR is going to have to work on that before the start of next season. Overall, good race, and we head over to Bristol. I'm really hoping that Bristol is going to be a good race. We know this car has issues on the short track. I don't know what Bristol's going to do in terms of that tire grip thing that they like to use on the bottom to make it old Bristol for a little bit before it wears out, and then you have to go to the top. If they go to the top too early, I don't think you're going to see a great race at all. So I hope they try to make the bottom dominant. But then again, even then, this car, the bump and run, is not really a thing. So I am skeptical that Bristol is going to be a good race. But I hope that we'll at least have some drama and entertainment. I think you won't see the normal, classic, great Bristol racing. I don't think you're going to see that just because of the way the car handles at short tracks. So honestly, in my opinion, I hope we see drama, some fights, some people getting frustrated. And instead of just running in a train, whether it be on the bottom or the top, I hope we get some drama. Like, literally, some people just lose their heads and just, you know, wreck someone. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. I kind of want the entertainment at Bristol. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I will see you guys tomorrow. Busy week ahead this week. On the channel, we have a new arcade game coming out, I think on the 15th or something like that. I have seen no marketing for it whatsoever, so I don't really have high hopes for it, but we'll see how that goes. We have an iRacing update for tomorrow, so kind of a new season, new update, so that's going to be interesting. We have a 500 lap live stream coming up for NIS at Bristol. So yes, on iRacing, you have to do the full 100% 500 laps at Bristol. That'll be on Thursday night, so if you want to come watch along and see me suffer for 500 laps at Bristol, then that will be on Thursday night. So a busy week this week. I will see you guys for all of that. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Take care of yourselves, and follow me on Twitter if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new, and peace out.